What's up, guys? So I know a lot of you ask, what do you get paid in the military? Or how much will I get paid if I join the military? Well, it's a good thing you're watching this video because that's exactly what I'm going to explain. Now, I'm going to make another video in the future that goes further in depth about all the things that go into your paycheck. But for this video, I'm only going to be talking about base pay. So base pay is going to be the large majority of where your money comes from when you're in the military. I was in F-15 if you couldn't hear that. I know this has absolutely nothing to do with getting paid in the military or this video in general, but if you live on a military base that has a flight line, you're more than likely going to hear a ton of planes fly over constantly. What's up, Carl? Like the ones that are flying in the background right now. So if you don't like living near or around loud outdoor environments, the military might be hard for you to sleep. Especially if you're on an off shift and have to sleep during the day, that's the worst. Like I did a year on mids and it was awful. But I'm going to get back to what this video is about now. Carl, you're my favorite. Guys, say hi to Carl. He's my kitty cat. Hey, buddy. We're like best friends. Alright, I'm making a video. You gotta go. I can't hang out right now. Alright, well, he's just gonna chill right here if that's cool with you guys. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Google. And that's exactly what I have pulled up right now. Well, not Google itself, but I used Google to get to this web page. So I typed in Air Force Pay Chart 2015, and then I clicked on the first link, which brought me to a page that you can select all of the pay charts from like the past to present. So I selected 2015 because that's the current pay chart that we're on. So that's what this is right here. And I'm actually going to blow that up and cover myself right now. So now you don't have to look at me, thank goodness. So if you're not in the military, this chart might be a little confusing to you. On the left-hand side, you have E1 at the bottom all the way up to O10. And then at the top, you have 2 or less years all the way up to over 18 years of service. For example, I'm going to use my situation right now. I have been in for 2.5 years, so that means I go over to the over 2 years. I go all the way down, and since I'm a senior airman right now, my rank is E4. So as you can see, it says I should be making $2,122.80 per month. Right now, I also have my LES, or my leave and earnings statement with me. And on here, it also says $2,122.80 is what I'm getting paid per month right now. So that is correct according to my LES and to this pay chart. So since we get paid twice a month on the 1st and the 15th of every month, you would divide that in half. Now that's not going to be what your paychecks are on the 1st and 15th because they also do pull out taxes. And then on top of that, at your base, it depends on where you're stationed. You might get COLA, which is cost of living allowance, which is overseas, and then BAS, which is for food allowance, and then BAH, which is housing allowance. There's a bunch of things that can go into it, which I'm not going to get into in this video. I'm going to make another video that's more detailed. I already made a video about getting paid in the military, but I was single at the time, and I lived in the dorms. And if you want to click in the top right-hand corner of this video, there'll be an exclamation point, and it can take you to that video where I broke down how my paycheck was as a single airman. Now, if you're looking forward to a video that has to do with me being married and how much I get paid, you're going to have to stick around on my YouTube channel for a little longer. In the near future, hopefully in the next month, I'll have a video out about that. Now, this whole chart is going to have every single rank, as you can see on the left-hand side, and then on the top, it has the years of service. Now, most of you that are watching this are going to be coming into the Air Force between E1 and E3 because E3 is the highest that you can enter the Air Force at. Now, I'm going to use my situation again as an example because I joined as an E2 because I had enough college credits to earn E2, but not enough to be an E3. So I came in as an airman, which is E2. E1 is an airman basic, and E3 is an airman first class. But since I was an E2, when I first joined, my base pay was $1,734, which means that my 2 paychecks every month came out to be $867. But like I said earlier, that isn't including them pulling out taxes. Also, like I said earlier, there's a lot of other things that can go into a paycheck. Now, this chart is always going to be accurate as far as what your base pay is going to be. So my next rank is going to be E5 or Staff Sergeant, which I test next year for it. If I don't get it, I'll continue to be an E4. So let's just say, for an example, I hit my 3-year mark in January. and I'm currently in E4, and right now I have less than 3 years of service, so I'm still getting paid the over 2 years of service at E4. But in January, I'm going to hit my 3-year mark, which means I'm going to get a pay raise of about $116. Now, it doesn't mean that every year you start making $116 more, because as you can see based off the chart, depending on what rank you are and then how many years of service you have, it varies. So in January, when I hit my 3-year mark, they're going to bump my base pay up to $2,238. And I'll be testing for Staff Sergeant next year, so if I do make it, I might not sew on until after my 4-year mark, so I would still be in E4. So once I hit my 4-year mark, I'll start making $2,351.40 as my base pay. And then as soon as I sew on Staff Sergeant, or E5, my base pay would get bumped up to $2,580.60. Now, if any of you are concerned at what E, W, or O stands for on the left side of that chart, E stands for enlisted, which is what I am. O stands for officer, as most of you already know, which requires a bachelor's degree at the minimum to become an officer. And then W stands for warrant officer, which in the Air Force we don't have warrant officers. In the Air Force we don't have warrant officers, but other branches do. So you might be wondering, if the Air Force doesn't have warrant officers, why is it on this chart? Well, the Air Force, Marines, Army, Navy, they all pay the same. Now, since I'm an E4 or a senior airman, I get paid the same as an E4 in the Navy or a petty officer 3rd class. We are technically the same rank. We go off the same pay chart. So you actually won't make more money if you join a different branch just from base pay alone. Now, you can earn extra money for different career fields in different branches, but all of that is a case-by-case scenario, and there's way too much of that to go into detail, especially in this video. Alright guys, well I hope that answered some of your questions, that now you guys know how to use the pay chart for the military. I remember when I was joining and I had no idea. Like, I had found this chart, but I didn't really know what it meant. And unless someone explained it to me, I was still like kind of in the dark. No more worries with base pay. You know you'll at least be making this much money. Alright guys, that's all I have for base pay in the Air Force or the military in general. I hope that you guys learned something from this video, and if you were looking for this information, I hope that I answered it. If not, throw some questions down in the description below. I'll gladly answer them, or someone else will. And if I think it's a good enough question, I might make a video of it. If you want to give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. It's going to help other people find this video, and it's also going to help my channel. Also, click the subscribe button and check out my social media links in the description below. I had to sneeze. I lost my sneeze. Oh. Also, what do you guys think about my new lens that I'm trying out right now? It's a 50mm lens. I honestly bought it and then have never used it on my camera for anything. So I'm hoping that the quality is a little better. I know some people tell me I need to use a better camera, and I do have a good camera. I just have like the crappy lens that it came with. And this lens is actually made for this style of shooting. So hopefully it looks a lot better now. Carl, come here. Thanks for watching my videos, guys. I gotta go get ready for work, but in the meantime, be sure to check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. See ya! One of the biggest questions that I receive as far as taking leave in the military is, can I take leave after BMT? And can I take leave after tech school? Most of you already know BMT is 2 months long. And then your tech school depends on what your job is. So your tech school could actually be 1 month long, or your tech school could be 6 months long. It just depends on your job and how long the training is for that job. Now, you're not actually going to get to use leave right after BMT.